So What'd You Learn podcast, where we learn from other people's mistakes so
Alex, the
you
only
don't
listener,
have to.
just stopped listening.
Well, fuck them.
This Sunday in a steel cage.
Sunday.
Oh God, this is going to be unravel.
Did you know, fun fact, that the guy who started the Sunday thing had like an actual like reason behind it? It was exclaim, confirm, reinforce.
Oh, that does make sense.
So there's a
Sunday,
reason.
Sunday.
Also
Period.
Saturday.
But that, there's a reason why you can go Sunday. And everyone's just like, oh yeah, that thing.
Well, it's like it's the comedy rule of threes works in the same way of three things in a row happening are funny. That was a terrible explanation.
My coworker was I was talking to her the other day, and she was talking about how she's like, I used to be a teacher. Repetition, fucking hate it. Like, these kids like won't be listening to a thing you're saying. They're like, what? And you're like, ask someone next to you. Someone else is listening. You ask them. I'm not fucking repeating it.
What?
But she says, like, I hate repetition. I was like, you hate repetition? Hate repetition? Hate? And she's like, God damn it. I knew if I said anything, you just like jump on it.
On it.
Yeah. Welcome to the world,
Speaking of welcome to So What'd You Learn?
where we talk about absolutely nothing for no reason.
We're trying to maybe have a topic today of mental health.
Yeah, woo, mental health.
Yeah.
We tried this once before, and we fucked it up.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes. We had a little technical difficulties in the last episode, and it was so goddamn good. We're gonna try and redo that conversation. We're gonna try our best, and I'm clearly not doing well, so
No,
I'm gonna pass the
we're all failing.
pass the rock to someone else.
We have a talking
the Wizard
rock
of
here.
Oz didn't. He Oz'd, but he didn't wizard very well.
Jesus,
I like that metaphor.
Thanks.
I wasn't a fan.
We need a curtain, though, so you can be the man behind it, so I don't have to look at you. Love you, Dallas.
That's the tiny little monkey inside the computer.
Oh, okay. Do they upgrade to monkeys now?
Yeah, it's that Windows 2.0.
Oh,
Yeah, instead of Rams.
monkeys. Little monkeys.
Oh, baby monkeys in the computer.
So in talking about health,
Okay.
so one of my favorite quotes about mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So I think that's going to be the kind of direction we're going to try and go here today, and I don't give you some examples from our lives and just kind of how we've gotten through some things, some tougher times in life, and maybe some tips and tricks and some laughs and I don't know,
Some hacks that they don't want you to know.
life hacks.
Doctors hate this.
Doctors hate this podcast. They probably do. It's probably harmful.
Don't make our single listener hate it too.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, God. Some of the shit we've said on this.
Oh, my mom listened to my last podcast where
yeah?
our first episode, or our first two episodes were Fuck, Marry, Kill, because we went so long it had to be a two-parter.
Oh, my God.
And I brought serial killers as my wild card. Literally the first thing I came up with.
Well, Alex, speaking of serial killers.
Yes, speaking of serial killers, I have nowhere to go with that. Thank you, Dallas, for handing me serial killers.
That segue brought to you by Segway. When you need a segue.
All right.
Oh, my God. Okay. Okay, so my story is a fun little story about how stalkers are made. I guess. I don't know if this is the only way you can make a stalker, but there are a plenty of methods.
There's ingredients.
Yeah.
Well, like most things, it's, nature and nurture.
So I had this friend who we knew each other going back to like 12 years old. We were in a boys recreational organization growing up, and probably in our mid-20s or so, we were kind of, do our thing. We'd hang out, smoke weed, watch movies, yada, yada.
Typical,
that whole thing.
young adult teenager shit.
Yeah. And we're going to see a movie at the theater. And I mean, and his name is Burl, by the way, in case you was wondering.
Classic Burl.
Classic Burl. And we were going to go see a movie at the theatre. And
can I ask what movie?
It was Eye in the Sky with Helen Mirren. Dame Helen Mirren.
Oh,
since
yes,
we're talking
Dame.
about dames and knights. So Burl was really into like comic book films and the whole like DC universe and X-Men and all this stuff. I know X-Men is
nerdy
Marvel,
shit.
but yeah, exactly. So we're getting ready to go see this movie, and he is picking me up, and he is like talking about this person in my life is this character, and because he was watching The Flash on what the
Terrible
CW.
thing to get your reality from.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. So he was watching The Flash, and he was like, "This person is Vibe, and this person is Flash, and this person's the villain because they did this or whatever." And the more he was talking, the more apparent it was that he was blending. Like I wasn't
He was losing touch with reality.
Yeah, he was saying that this person in his life is literally this other person because of something that you know, what ex-friend did.
Because they forgot onion rings at Burger King.
Right,
in his order.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was also talking about dreams that he had, but he was like confusing. Like he would go from describing the dream to describing things that actually happen in real life without distinguishing between one or the other.
Yeah, stream of consciousness.
Right. It almost started getting like, and he was just going on. And I'm like, all right, this is weird. So we go to the movie, which is a mistake. And he is, you know, how your friends sit and talk quietly amongst yourselves before the trailers start, right? He's just going on a mile a minute about whatever the fuck. And he's like turned sideways in the seat. It's like staring, like facing me, sitting next to him, not just like turning to the side a little bit. He's like literally turned in the seat.
Yeah.
And normally, once the trailers start, you know, quiet down. We watch the trailers or comment on the trailers.
Like a normal friend.
Yeah,
And friends
exactly.
going to the movies. Yeah, you joke on the trailers and then you shut the fuck up and watch a movie.
Right. He did not do that. He ignored the trailers completely.
Red flag.
And then when the movie started, he ignored the movie completely and just kept talking to me. And then he held his hand up to shield his vision from the movie
From the thing he paid for?
From the thing he paid for. But he was like, "No, I can't watch this movie. It's they're trying to like implant stuff. You know, it's an evil movie. It's bad. It's evil." And I'm like, okay. I mean, it doesn't help the movie's about surveillance.
Yeah, that's
lol.
Whoopsie dude.
But he fucking knew that. Okay, like he signed up for that.
No, Alex, I'm distinctly blaming you for this.
So I'm like, okay, let's go then. Because at this point, I'm like, this is way worse than I thought it was.
Yeah, this is going from like kind of funny to like, oh shit, this is.
Yeah, to like, I'm concerned. I even said, I'm like, Burl, your behavior is alarming right now. Like, it's something's up.
Yeah.
What's going on? He's like, I want to leave. I'm like, okay, do you want to go to your house? He's like, yes. I'm like, okay. So I get in the car with him, and he's driving because I do not drive. Because all those pedestrians keep jumping out in front of my car. But no, I don't drive.
Wait,
and
is that?
that's a
Okay,
joke.
I wasn't sure if that was an
Yeah,
actual joke.
I don't mow down pedestrians often.
Yes, famed vehicular manslaughter.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like if somebody chose not to drive, a really good reason would be because I hit and killed somebody and I no longer wish to drive.
I mean, yeah.
Moving on.
No, I have never killed anyone accidentally or otherwise. But so I get in the car with him and he's driving, which is like, I'm just like, what am I doing?
So the man whose view of reality
in a
is
broken state, like he is not making sense, and
let's
he's
put him
ranting
in-
the entire way from SeaTac to West Seattle.
Okay, so a good like 25 minute drive.
It was later, so there was no traffic, so I'd say
Okay,
probably
yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes.
But still, a longish drive.
Yeah. Especially me holding the oh shit handle, being like, I don't want to die today.
Yeah.
So we get to his house, and he wakes his mom up, and his mom's like, what the fuck? And he's just like walking, pacing, ranting, having like these weird false epiphanies about you know, oh, my uncle killed himself, and I know why, and like it's because of this and because of that, and yada yada yada.
That
And he's
real manic.
real manic, and he's like saying fucked up shit to his mom. Because I mean, from what I gather, even though he's not a very happy person most of the time, but the family dynamic was kind of a little fucked anyway. So
Sure.
you know, but he was terrified that his father was going to come home and murder him.
Oh, that's a normal
So
thought to have.
were
Right.
his parents still together in the same house with him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's different.
Yeah. And we finally convince him to get in the car and drive him to the hospital, the emergency room.
What time is it?
The movie was at 10. We left after the trailers and like maybe 15 minutes into the movie.
So it might be
That's the most
11.
uncomfortable thing. 15 minutes of your friend talking at you during.
Maybe 10
Yeah.
minutes into the movie, but
So it's around 11:30ish.
11:30, yeah. And so he's there for like maybe an hour and a half before we convince him to
At his parents' house,
at his parents'
ranting,
house,
raving.
raving before we convince him to get into the car. And we drive him to Harborview, also known as Harbor Zoo, because it is the trauma center, not a mental health center. For those of you listener who's listening, if you ever need to go to the emergency room and you're in Seattle, don't go to Harborview if you aren't in a state of trauma, like physical trauma. Go to Swedish, because Swedish has a better handle on that.
Yeah, and don't go to Highline because that is
It's a bucket of shit.
yeah. But if wherever you are, if someone's having a mental issue that they need immediate attention, look up in your local area. Just don't go to the emergency room. Take them to an actual place that deals with mental.
Or if you know, in this sense, the only thing open was an emergency room.
right.
So we had to go to one of them because he was like, we didn't know what he was gonna fucking do next.
Yeah,
like
sure.
we're like, okay, you could do anything right now, and I have no idea.
Danger to himself and others.
Right. He didn't express necessarily intent to be harmful to himself or others, but there was no predicting his behavior because he would just go off on weird. You're just like, oh fuck. So we're in the emergency, in the waiting room. We were there for probably 3-4 hours.
Sweet.
Good
times.
Yeah, good times. And he's just like ranting the whole time. Not like yelling, but just like, you know, talking under his breath. And
He's like pacing or just kind of
sitting. Like he basically, the charge nurse, I think is the charge nurse, or the intake nurse, he's describing what what's happening with him, and he's like, I've had a series of mini strokes, or I have a cyst in my brain, or, you know, all this stuff. And she's like, I see. And so he goes, sits down, and she comes over, and she's like, yeah, I mean, I can't diagnose, but I've seen this like so many times.
yeah, we kind of see this before.
Yeah. And I think the impetus was his girlfriend dumped him.
Oh, it was like
Always a good reason.
catalyst. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I think that was the catalyst. But
Well, so when you jump to conclusions about your own physical health, what is that called again?
self-diagnosing.
No,
Yeah.
it's like
My hypochondria.
Yeah.
was it kind of like that, or is it totally different?
I think he was trying to grasp at any reason
Any
why.
excuse?
Well, he has struggled with depression for many years, and his parents put him on like ADD medication. He was young, but I don't think he had ADD, and so it like fucked him up.
Sped the deterioration up.
Right, and he
With
was on
speed.
antidepressants for a long time, but they didn't help him in a way because
Well, and this is this is your friend that doesn't trust doctors as well.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. He does not trust doctors. He they're only trying to fill him full of medication and poisons, and no, they don't really want to help you. They just want to keep you sick.
Because that's an important distinction. When people just think you take a pill and I'm better. No,
Right,
this
no,
takes
no,
lots
no.
of contact with your doctor to make sure it's right for you, or change medication or dosage or what have you.
Yeah.
Managing your mental health is a process, and
It is.
takes
It's a lot of
practice,
fucking work.
and it's a lot of work.
It's easier for others. It's harder for some.
Yeah, I've
There's
been in
no-
therapy for 7 years. Yep.
Wow.
pretty consistently, and it.
What is that in dog years?
It's well, I know what the bill is. Say it hasn't been cheap, and I haven't been able to go on vacation ever.
Fair. where was I? Oh yes, he hates doctors. Like and even before this whole happened, like he'd been struggling with depression and was very sad.
Dallas, I see you have a fact you want to share.
Yeah, what's up?
32 therapy years for dogs.
How did you find that?
I googled it.
What is 7 years, human years, and dog years?
7 years and dog years.
Oh, okay.
Assuming Google knows I'm a human. That's crazy.
Well, if you
Dude,
suck,
what's like the oldest dog? The oldest cat is in Illinois, and it is 31, and it is 2019 for that one listener we have.
yes.
Don't know. You could very easily also Google that, but the listener could also
Yeah.
Google that.
Oh, what's the oldest dog?
That's
I don't
what
know.
I just told you. To go Google.
Sorry, it's a little later than normal.
So this might be a little wackier than usual.
Yeah, self-diagnosing, and maybe he does have a cyst in his brain, and maybe he does had mini stroke. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
not the point.
he never got that diagnosed by a doctor. Anyway, and so he's rambling, and then he decides he needs to get something really important out of the car, and we're like, uh-huh. He's like, it's food, I'm hungry. We're like, okay, we'll
what
go
is it?
get it.
We
What
can
is
go
it?
get
We'll
it,
go get it. He's like, no, I want to go get the, I'm gonna go get the snack bars or whatever. And we're like, okay, we'll go get it. And he's like, no, it's pissing him off, and we're like, we're not idiots. Like,
Right.
you're at the emergency room because you gone fucking wacko.
Yeah,
and
here's your escape
here's
car.
your keys. Now you come back, all right?
We're trusting you here.
Yeah, so he gets agitated and eventually takes a swing at me. But I blocked it because I'm a goddamn ninja.
In the emergency room?
In the emergency room, and he runs off
Into the night.
into the night.
Yeah,
Oh.
into downtown Seattle.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just run off without swinging at you?
Who the
I
fuck
don't
knows?
know.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think
why
that's
am
the
I
wrong
asking
question.
questions? Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah. And so
I've escaped.
yoink. Pew. And so we go home, and apparently, like 4 hours later, 5 hours later, he shows back up at his parents' house in West Seattle, having walked from First Hill, which is near Capitol Hill, which is like east downtown, to West Seattle, which requires crossing a
Just
bridge.
over a bridge, a highway bridge.
A highway bridge.
That is not made for walking.
Yeah. It was bad.
Astonishing.
So they called a crisis group, and they came and they took him to a facility for a week.
Called a crisis? What does that entail?
Basically, it's people who are trained for if someone's in a mental health crisis.
Okay.
They are trained to convince someone to come with them willingly to a facility to get them the help that they need.
I see.
Imagine what they could do to... Well, never mind. What did they... I just imagine them showing up in like white suits and...
They're coming to take you away.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally with a straight jacket, like a big
coming
burly
to take
dude.
you
I
away.
mean, mental health care in the United States isn't great, but it's not that anymore.
Get him, Tiny.
Right.
Okay.
So what did they look like? Did you see them?
No, I wasn't there. His mom called
Oh,
me on the
okay,
phone.
okay.
She's like, he's home. What do I do? And I'm like, if you feel unsafe, call the police.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Oh,
she did.
so that she did. Yeah.
Yeah. They showed up, and the situation wasn't great because he didn't want to take his medication, but they're like, take your fucking meds. And they'd be like, they make me feel fuzzy, and they're like, doesn't matter, take your meds.
Yeah.
Because you have to be on medication like that for a period of time before
Yeah.
it balances everything out, before you can actually tell how you're responding. Because you'll be groggy and cloudy headed for the first while.
Takes about
Yeah,
3 weeks
Yeah.
Most negative side effects from medication take a while to
to manifest and
work themselves out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's almost like a weird tolerance.
It
but-
kind of, in a way, your body
In a
has to
way.
get used to the way, because it literally it changes your brain chemistry. It allows for serotonin uptake. Most of the time, that's what your Zolofts and most of your antidepressants do. Anyway.
Same goes with the rest of your body. Like me, for example, I ate fast food for a week and then had some vegetables and I wanted to puke. My stomach was literally turning over with.
Because you ate some broccoli?
Oh, where's the
Well,
special
it was
sauce?
like a vegetable smoothie type thing.
That would make anyone want to vomit, Dallas.
Well, no, it was like physical pain, not just like gross, tasty mouth. And
no, I do understand.
or vice versa. If you don't eat fast food for a long time and then all of a sudden you have it, you're gonna be like, oh, I feel like shit.
Yeah, no, it's astonishing. It really is.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, yes.
Medicine.
They're coming to take you away. Haha.
They're coming to take you away. Take me away. They're coming to take me away. Haha. They're coming to take me away. Ho ho he. Okay.
Yeah.
To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time.
All the time.
Anyway. Yeah, that's a novelty song for the ages. Sorry, everybody.
Just quick side tangent. So when my buddies were pledging this frat in college, they have to go through like this hell week at the end of their pledging or whatever, and apparently they only played 3 songs, and 2 of them, one of which was They're Coming to Take You Away, which is very creepy to listen to over and over, and the other one was Ring 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 Banana Phone. I forgot what the third one was, but it was also awful.
How many?
And they listened to that for a week straight.
Was it Downtown,
Wait.
but sung by Mrs. Miller?
Like
Downtown.
once a day for a week, or
No, they listened to this for 24 hours straight. I think it was a weekend that they actually, it was like 3 days. Where
on
they're
like
not
a
allowed to sleep. They get like hazed and all this shit. Yeah, frats
or
are
what
weird.
we like to call in
The
2019
fuck?
torture.
Yeah. I had to
audio torture is real.
Yeah, I
They
had
do that. They did
Like
that at Abu
Guantanamo
Ghraib
Bay.
and Guantanamo Bay. Yeah.
What did they play? Or was it just like white noise?
was it
scraping?
AC/DC?
They played AC/DC,
Oh my God.
Metallica, and I believe
Tiny
Madonna.
So that would be like all right for 10 minutes, and then it just
But they would blast it, and so people couldn't get sleep.
Yeah, no, it's literally.
Yeah,
just
they literally
sleep
were
deprived you.
torturing people.
Yeah, no, my friend said by the 3rd day he was starting to hallucinate for legitly because he hadn't slept, and he was basically just having alcohol poured down his throat. College.
Or what we like to
Wow.
call torture.
Have you guys heard of sound cannons?
Yes.
They
They're a crowd disbursement.
Are so
tools.
fascinating and terrifying. I
They can
love
also
it.
make you shit your pants if it hits you directly.
Just from
They call
the
that the
shock.
brown note.
It's not quite the brown note. 'Cause it's not a tone, but it does like affect your bowels in a way where it basically vibrates them to
Yeah.
shit your pants.
Yeah, it's like punching somebody with
Yeah, essentially.
sound.
Yeah.
But your whole body, all of it, all at once, not just one.
Yeah. Like cosmically shitting your pants.
Cosmically shitting your pants. Sounds like
T-shirt.
DMT. Anyway,
Hey, Joe, you ever fuck around with that DMT?
yeah, and so eventually he, got out, and I kept in contact with him because I'm like, trying to be being a good
Trying to be a
friend.
good friend, supportive.
Yeah. And he was not deemed to not be a threat to himself or others, and so they released him, and he was very resentful of everything. And we tried to hang out for a little bit after that, and it was still kind of contentious, and sometimes he would like get riled up, and I'm like, dude, this reminds me of that thing.
That incident we had.
He did not like that.
Yeah, of course.
Until eventually he basically sent me a text message being like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Don't contact me. And I was like, damn, son, that's cold. But I got you.
Yep.
I was
I'll
like,
still be around if you need me, man.
I'll still be around. Like, I sent him a message. I was like, I respect your decision. If you need anything, you know where to find me.
Yep. Good friend.
Little did I think of, so like, I don't know, what was it? 9 months later or so, he starts sending me like hate mail, like text messages, like,
Okay, not like a
being
snail
friends
mail
with,
letter.
right,
That'd be even more terrifying.
right, written in like cut out little letters from
Yeah,
magazines.
like classic. Where did you even find a magazine in 2019?
Where do you find a magazine with that many different fonts?
Right?
This
guy's real fucked up.
I bet he used
of
fucking
work.
library books too. That monster.
That monster.
Yeah, it was like, being your friend's the worst mistake I ever made in my life. I'm like,
Directed at you.
directed at me, and I'm like,
The-
okay.
The friend that stayed with him through his darkest period and has been nothing
and tried
but
to get him
helpful.
help. Yes, I've been the
monster.
the monster.
You gotta blame somebody, man. Come on.
Right. And I don't know if like, because his parents wanted me to be there when they were doing his kind of like hearing, which was to determine if he was a harm to himself or others. And I was like, I didn't actually like fear for my life. Like, I was concerned and it was freaky.
Worried for your friend.
Oh, we were for my friend, but I wasn't like, he's going to kill me or he's going to hurt me. Right. So if I had said, yes, I was afraid for my safety, they would have kept him in there much longer.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't, because I didn't.
Right.
No, you're being honest. And
I was being honest.
all you could do.
And the lawyer lady seemed kind of disappointed. She was like,
Ugh.
okay. No, because she wanted to keep him longer because he honestly probably needed it.
Right, but
Thanks for nothing, asshole.
Yeah, she was like, I want you to be very clear. Did you feel unsafe? And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of like, I was worried about it. And she was like, oh, God.
again.
Yeah, so
Why
he
won't
starts...
people say what they feel?
Your Honor, allowed to treat this witness as hostile.
Oh.
Hostily hot.
Hot style witness. Oh my God, can that be a show where like they make over like people, like jurors?
Oh, God.
They like have a jury of 12 people and they just like make them over and call it hot style witness.
So yeah, you get the people from Queer Eye, and you also get I don't know, like Judge Judy or somebody.
Hell yeah.
And so what? They all like get a makeover in the
The jurors are
decision-making
selected,
room?
and then yeah, they get a makeover. And
No.
then-
Okay, no. The defendants
That's
and
even
the what's the other one? The prosecution. They get makeovers and
To affect the
whoever
jury.
to affect the jury, and they try to make the defendant as hot as possible so they get off.
Ooh, that's Running Man style fucked up, but I like it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Whatever, we're hurtling towards
can-
dystopia anyway. Let's
Yeah.
fucking lean
It'll
in.
only make our
Jury.
criminal justice system better,
Yeah,
or
I
at
was
least
gonna-
more entertaining.
Yeah, I can't make it worse, honestly.
Exactly.
More attractive is better, Alex.
It's true. Just read Harry Potter.
And look how beautiful all these lawyers look, you know?
Exactly. Fuck. No, yeah, I was reading. I was listening to the Potterless podcast, which is a great podcast about a guy who reads Harry Potter for the first time.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's very good. But he's reading through and he's like, it's really kind of apparent how J.K. Rowling feels about, I don't know, the disfigured or the disabled, or I mean, I'm kind of putting words in his mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that explicitly, but
Sure.
in the
I
Harry
feel
Potter
it.
universe, if you're pretty, you're good. If you're ugly, you're bad.
Yeah, it makes sense. Physical deformities. I mean, Voldemort, doesn't have a fucking nose, so...
Wormtail's missing a hand. Petunia is always described as like bony and sharp. Or if you're like really fat, you're also bad.
Or that dude with
Right.
the speech impediment from the first book was the only one I ever read. Professor Quark. He stuttered. Quirrell, whatever.
Yeah, Quirrell had a stutter. Did he have a stutter in the book?
He had a stutter. He had a stutter in the book. Yeah, that's the only Harry Potter book I ever read. Was the first one.
Gotcha.
That's the only one I know.
But yeah, fucking.
So bringing
J.K.
it
Rowling.
full circle back to hot jury.
Hot style witness.
Right.
Sounds like I could order that at a KFC.
Oh my god. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have dysentery?
Wondered.
Now you can.
I'd pay $5 for that.
Come on down to buckets of shit. Food's terrible, but we give you a nice bucket to keep your shit in.
With your very own slop bucket. You can take it home with you.
So you're eating at KFC, and then what happened?
Nobody was eating at KFC.
Now where was I? Oh yes. So he's sending me hate mail. So I block his phone number. Then he starts sending me also similarly negative messages, but like a couple months later on Facebook
He took some
Messenger.
time, yeah.
So I unfriend him and block him there. Then he makes another account and messages me later from that account. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I blocked him again. And I have not been responding to any of these.
Yeah, you're just
have not
playing
engaged.
defense.
And then it was like maybe 6 months ago. I got in some sort of like minor argument with someone on Reddit. you know. And I'm like, why is this guy like? It's an LGBT subreddit, and this guy was like, they're sick and freaks, and I'm like, oh, you're
being
not worth
real
my time.
weird and fucking
being really trolly, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, whatever. So I ignore that, and then I notice that I keep getting comments from this account on my old comments. Like I'll comment on something and then like it'll be a 4-month old comment, and this guy will come around and comment on it saying something like
something weird
and aggressive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So report, block, you know.
Sure.
Then a new account pops up, same sort of shit, but they're all like, all the handles are like weird, I don't want to say any of the account names, but they're all like weirdly like
specific
sexually violent in a way.
Oh, fun.
Like
Great.
one was called, I guess I'll say it because I don't think it's an account anymore. He went by the handle Raw Dog Assassin with a number.
God.
Classic.
And I'm just like, okay.
I'm a big bad rape machine. 24.
Yeah.
All right, we need to put him on the Hot Jury show.
On the what?
Do we?
Oh,
Raw Dog Assassin.
Raw Dog Assassin.
You have been here, brought in today for...
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Fuck. Yeah. So, you know, report, block, that sort of thing. And then, I mean, I was like, what is this going on?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is probably him.
And you could tell it's same tone, same
Same
kinda-
tone. And then I went back through one account of their posting history. Because I was like, before I was like not interested in like weird internet randos.
Yeah, some
I'm just
asshole
like,
with
fine,
fuck.
block, whatever. So I went back through the history and like reading about one, how he spoke, how he put words together, and also like talking about him, you know, he like, you know, I'm psychotically depressed. And I'm like, oh, that's him.
Well, ding, 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 we have
ding,
a winner.
Ding, motherfucking ding. So I'm like, oh, great. So block again. And he left a review at my job.
Yeah,
'Cause I
like
work
online.
Well, online. I left I work a retail job, and so he left a Google review that said 1 star. Alex called me a straight demon and threw glitter in my face. And I first didn't know who had left it, and I thought it was the best fucking thing I had
it's fucking
ever
hilarious.
seen. I have a printout of it, and I'm just like, I love it.
I've been wearing that as a name tag.
I'm going to start doing that more often.
Yeah, right?
But it wasn't funny because he gave you 1 star, so it clearly wasn't a joke.
Yeah. I thought it was, at first I thought it was a regular customer who'd like a joke. And I'm like, but it says 1 star.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, oh, I looked at the name, and the fake name that he had used was Harvey Banner. And I'm
Sexy,
like,
sexy
okay,
Harvey Banner.
Harvey Dent, Bruce Banner, Two-Face, the Hulk, fuse them together. Fuck you.
You get 1 shitty troll.
Yeah, I was like, you fucking suck. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the story, he was super into Marvel and DC. One's a DC, other is Marvel. Figure that one out.
And interesting, he picks the 2 superhero, 1 supervillain, 1 superhero with rage issues, and another that is basically bipolar.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun correlation.
And then most recently, I think maybe a couple weeks ago, he sent me a direct message on Reddit because I hadn't changed my account. I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Just some asshole, whatever,
Not
I'll
worth your
block him.
time.
not worth
Yeah,
my time.
exactly.
Like, you know. But he sent me a direct message basically saying some like fucked up shit about my partner. And I'm like, okay. Nope. So I
crossed the
created a
line.
new Reddit account. And if you're wanting to stalk me, my handle is just kidding. Fuck yourself. Getting angry.
I've had my Reddit account for going on 8 years. Never had to change the name.
Exactly.
And
We're friends on Reddit, Dallas.
you can't be friends with people on Reddit.
Yes, you can.
Fuck!
Podcast over. I am not on Reddit.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I guess what did I learn? I learned that doing the right thing sometimes blows up in your face through no fault of your own.
It's hard to be a good friend.
It's hard to be a good friend. Lock down your social media. You know, put your privacy settings on. And do not engage with crazy fucking stalkers.
No, thank you for sharing with that.
Thank you. That's
that's an awful story.
It's an awful
sorry.
story. You know, I really didn't think myself as like stalker worthy, but you know, having one really, you know, it makes me feel good about myself.
No, but thank you for sharing. And it just goes to show sometimes it is hard to deal with people that are going through their own personal mental problems. But like we said earlier in the show, it's mental is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Clearly, he was not being responsible with his mental health. He wasn't taking his meds. He wasn't listening to doctors. He's being all nuts, walking, you know, on highways and shit.
Yeah, well, and the same goes with mental health as it does with addiction or a good friend with relationship problems. All you can do is be there, and then their action, you can give your input or your support, but their actions are ultimately their decision. And that sucks, but that's kind of the way it is. You can't physically force anybody to do anything against their will,
unless they are a harm to themselves or others,
or
legally speaking.
I forgot where I heard this, but most people that go to rehab say it takes usually a couple times to get it right, or not get it right, but you go through it actually, because you actually want to have to change. If someone's forcing you into it, you're probably not going to do well. Not to say you can't, but
it's the same thing.
You have to change for yourself. Basically.
Personal experience. Not lighthearted personal experience. Quitting smoking. You are dating somebody. You are a smoker. They want you to quit smoking, so you quit. But you don't quit for you quit for them.
Yep.
So the second you break up or are apart for a week,
you
or
become the Marlboro Man.
You become the goddamn Marlboro Man, but you got a fucking spy outfit on so nobody sees you. And
drowning yourself in Axe before you come. Be sure she comes back.
And then you're going out of your way to hide it, and you also can't get it when you want it. So you resent that.
Yep.
Whereas I have plenty of friends who have quit for themselves and were successful the first time.
Yeah,
you have to get to that
pack
point
in 3 months. So,
boom.
I still do bum your smokes every now and again, though. But
that takes
honey, you're supposed to use your mouth, not your bum.
Hey.
In trying to be there for someone going through something like that, like it's a noble desire to do that, but just like as you're saying with people with, you know, say they're in an abusive relationship or
the neighbors across the way they've fought 2 out of the, what day is it? Wednesday,
yeah.
Sunday, and I think last night.
That's the
Lord's
Lord's
Day. Screaming at each other, and they broke a picture, and then
broken this photograph.
Look at this photograph. It's on the ground. This is
it's still a stock photo in the frame.
And remember when I was complaining about the guy who gets up and locks his truck, beep, 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 from his window?
Yeah, we've heard him when we were recording. It's fun.
Yeah, that was him, and he lives with his lady, whatever
his lady
she is.
friend.
And that's how the argument started, where she was like, "Is your truck locked yet?" And I was like, "Yeah." That's what I was thinking. Get him, because I'm outside on the porch. And he's like,
watching through binoculars.
Boop, boop. Yeah, and that's how they fought. And then they broke a picture and they yelled. And I wanted to call the cops because this is the second time in 4 days, whatever it is. But I didn't, because I just went inside because I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I heard neighbors fighting at my old place in White Center. I heard neighbors having a horrifift argument. Eventually, I just screamed at the top of my lungs, "Shut the fuck up, or I'm going to call the police."
Yeah.
They didn't, and I didn't. It was an empty threat, but, you know, just...
Yeah, I mean, if you call on domestic violence, they're taking one of the 2 folks away.
Yeah.
For at least a night.
Yeah, or, I mean, at the very least, you can file a noise complaint. Be like, can you get these assholes to shut the fuck up, please?
The point being is sometimes don't be a hero when it comes to things out of your control, and I think mental health falls into that. Is don't make yourself the martyr or the victim or any other label you want to express on that.
And know that walking away at a certain point is not only appropriate, but it's the healthiest
Yes.
option. Maybe not for the person going through it, and of course, don't abandon your mentally ill friends.
Yeah,
because
no,
they're
this
mentally
isn't
ill, but-
giving you carte blanche. Whoa, fuck.
I'm
and-
sorry. You're just feeling a little depressed today. Okay, well, that's really I feel it's affecting my well-being. So I'm gonna go.
Bye.
Well, Alex, and a lot of people in your position would have just been like, I can't believe this. Like, I stood by him and I did X, Y, and Z, and he came after me. And it's all
I totally
about
understand
me.
why he came after me though.
Oh yeah.
Like
Well, I was wearing the fuck you t-shirt.
I was it was like
Fuck you, Burl.
fuck the crazies on my shirt.
That's just a picture of his face while you're kicking him in the butt.
But yeah, like I was super involved in this event that happened in his life that was like a major turning point in his mental health, probably for the worse, for a very long time, if not permanently. So I totally understand why he would be like, that asshole.
Yeah, it doesn't excuse it, but it rationalizes it.
Yeah. It's a reason, not an excuse. But yeah. Knowing when to walk away is also really important. Just like the friend that's in an abusive relationship, you can tell them till they're blue in the face, like, he's no good for you or she's no good for you. You need to leave.
Opinion man.
Well, and they will be
You
like,
don't know
yeah,
her.
I know, but most of the time he's great or she's great or
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
You
know
know,
them
and
what
after
they're like
Went
when we're
apple
together.
picking 2 weeks ago.
right. And
Yeah.
after a while, you're just like, okay, well, I've told you how I feel, and you know how I feel, and every time this comes up, I tell you how I feel, and you say that you totally hear me and you agree, and you go back doing the same thing. So either we don't talk about that because there's no point in talking about it, or if like I can't necessarily be around you because it's starting to draw me into this nonsense. And like it was being his friend was affecting my mental health as well. Like
Oh, I can
I was
imagine.
getting like super kind of depressed as well, just like being around him, hearing him talk about how sad he is all the time, but not doing anything about it.
It sucks seeing your friend like and feeling helpless and feeling, especially when you're around somebody who is that depressing. It gets depressing to be around them, and it can rub off on you, and it can kind of, knowing, and like you said, knowing when to walk away. That's a really important thing to realize.
Yeah. Especially for someone, I don't know if I should have walked away earlier. I don't know. But
I mean,
I was like,
hindsight's
I'll go
always-
to the therapist with you. Like, I'll sit in the waiting room.
Yeah, trying to be a
you
good
should
friend.
go talk. Yeah, trying to advocate for him getting some sort of mental health care. But no, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Well, that's a shame.
now I have no contact with him or any of his family members.
He hasn't contacted you since. You said it's been about like
Other
6
than
months.
through the internet telling me I'm a shitty person. No, not specifically.
Well, I'm sorry you're going through that. That is terrible.
Yeah, it's here and there. I'll get one every couple months. I'm like, oh, this asshole. But now that I, changed my Reddit handle,
Yeah, it's you've changed the locks on your digital house.
my new Reddit handle is fuckpig420. In case anyone wants to.
What is this first episode of
stalk
Black
me.
Mirrors?
No, he's just.
Oh, that was TV. I thought that was real life.
No, he's just a really big Manson fan.
Yeah.
I am also, now that I saw him live at White River Amphitheater last week.
Charles Manson?
Oh,
thinking Marilyn Manson.
I misheard you. Ooh,
I didn't know
no.
I didn't know Charlie was touring.
He's touring. Oh, he's dead now.
He's dead.
Yeah.
His album's actually not bad. If you've ever,
Isn't it like a folk album?
It's a folk album.
It's
yeah.
a folk album. It's actually.
It's not bad. He's got a good voice.
So,
Anyway.
a reminder for our listeners. These are just our personal experiences and what we went through. So feel free to learn or don't. But if
we're
you
not
have a
mental health
real
professionals.
if you have a real problem, contact a professional. Yeah, and to reiterate Zach's points from earlier, podcasting is our fault, but is not our responsibility.
That's true.
Well said, Dallas.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Do you have a story, Zach?
I don't really have a story, but I just have my own personal experiences with mental health in general. Like I said, I mentioned I've been in therapy since I've been about 20. I'm 29 now, so actually about 9 years. I guess kind of what I wanted to talk a little bit about is everyone's favorite subject, suicide.
Woo!
Very good band.
Suicide?
Yeah, they're all right.
Well, they're a great band if you want to like
Kill
turn
yourself?
the lights off, look in the mirror, and kind of dance funny. Have you guys ever done that thing where you
Can't say that I
What
have. There.
the fuck are you talking about, Dallas?
you guys have never done the thing where you just stare into like you turn the lights off and you stare
I've
into a
certainly
mirror?
gotten drunk and danced
And you
in
say
front
Bloody
of a mirror
Mary,
before.
Bloody Mary.
No, you just stare into it for a long time and your brain starts putting images behind you because the dark. It needs
Well,
to
no,
make
yeah,
up
That
your
sounds
lack of space.
horrifying. I don't want to do that.
So you're basically turning your own face into one of those pictures. You stare at it long enough, you see something.
Yeah, basically.
Ah,
Yeah.
neat. That doesn't sound haunting at all.
Moving on.
Yeah, suicide. It's a thing. It happens.
I am personally a 4-time survivor. Go me.
Woo!
I've,
You didn't vote yourself off the island. Congratulations.
I guess as someone with that unique of experience, 2 more punches, I get a free sub.
Sometimes it's good to be a failure.
Right?
Sorry.
No, that's fun. That was a good line.
So, do they give you a badge for each one, or?
No, it's more of a sash. It's nice and silk.
But what do they call that in Boy Scouts? The
The merit badge
merit
sash.
badge sash?
Yes. Yeah, I got my suicide badge, and it turns out you only get one badge for one of them, so I've got like 3 at home if anybody wants them. But no, something as a survivor can tell you is you instantly regret what you just did.
Right. Like, what was it? People, I have read, people who like jump off a building or a bridge or whatever, and they
whatever.
survive. What they say is like, I immediately regretted my decision.
Oh, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
as
almost
soon-
always the case, and if they don't regret their decision, we wouldn't know because they're
Yeah,
dead.
and I've done that with every action. Slitting my wrist. Oh, that was stupid. Swallowing a bunch of pills. That was fucking stupid. Yeah. So.
Ooh, I have an idea. What about like the suicide hotline? What if there was like a program where like people who are suicidal, you're like, okay, well we're gonna go bungee jumping, just so we're gonna go bungee jumping, so you can be like,
Oh,
I'm
this
throwing
is
myself,
amazing. Yes.
throw myself off a thing, but you won't die. And they're like, oh, fine, whatever. And so then, knowing that they're tied down, they're like, I still want to die, and they jump off. But right as they jump off, you're like, wait, you're not secured. And then they'll immediately regret it, and then
They'll
you'll be like,
immediately shit their pants.
yeah, and then you'll be like, see, just kidding.
Don't you want to live now?
Don't you want to live now?
There
Right?
has to be some sort of adrenaline therapy out there somewhere.
I'm sure there is, but it's also highly unethical. I
Yes.
I said that completely seriously, but now that I think about it, that is like the worst fucking bullshit.
So I just want to say, for anybody feeling suicidal, depressed, what have you, it does. Well, oh God, that's so fucking lame. It gets better, but it does. And suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it is temporary.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That's what always flashed in my brain.
And people oftentimes don't want to talk about it because they're like, one, it's taboo, and two, I don't want to like put ideas in their head. But if you're concerned someone is actually suicidal,
Tell somebody.
one,
Yes.
tell somebody. But also, talking to them about suicide is
Right.
only going to help them. It's not like if you
No.
ignore it, most people are like, well, I'm alone, no one cares, I'm just going to end it.
This is a
Whereas
li-
if you talk to them about it, talking about suicide with someone who is suicidal is not necessarily going to drive them over the edge.
Yeah, we'll talk
Right.
about most people, most mental health, or most problems. Actually, it does help. There
Yeah.
was a program in Chicago in the 70s where there's a lot of violence in schools and gang violence and things like that. So they brought in people to just talk to what they saw were problem youths, and it actually dropped crime rates by 74%.
74 in the high school?
Yep, and in the
Wow.
Chicago area. And then 2 years later, they cut the program due to budget concerns, and the crime rate shot right back up.
Yes, because-
So the reason I bring that up is, like you were saying, just it turns out talking to people kind of not fixes most problem, but it can stop violence.
and I've
You
from
might
occurring.
even consider it a form of therapy,
Yeah.
like
I've-
talk therapy.
Alex, how could you say such a dirty word?
And
God damn it!
I've
I'm
been
not
on
Sorry, the rapey.
the rapist.
Well, I've been on a victim panel before for something I won't go into.
What's a
But
victim panel?
Yeah,
A victim panel is where somebody who has done the same type of thing you've done gets up in front of a ton of people and tells their story.
Like AA?
Well, yeah, it can be for that. It can be for drugs. It can be for lots of things. But basically, people in the same situation or who have fucked up in the same way you have get up and they like talk about what they did and what they
Oh,
experienced.
that's neat. I've never heard of those.
Victim panels.
Yeah, no, never heard of that before.
Why are they called
it's where
victim
the
panels?
victim speaks.
Oh,
Of such
on a
a
panel.
whatever happened.
gotcha, gotcha.
Oh, I've never heard of these things. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and
There you go. That's something to Google in your
definitely
local area.
works.
You go to the stamp collecting victim panel, and they're like, as a victim of stamp-related crime.
I've lost my family. My
Just a guy
house.
with his hand covered in band-aids from fucking pain.
His
my
tongue's all cut up.
my hands my hands have become unmovable.
I got glue poisoning.
It killed my wife. But that was my little piece I wanted to say about mental health.
Definitely.
And yeah, just as a veteran having a fucked up mind.
Give me that camera.
Oh, yeah. So, does anyone have any, speaking of suicide, does anyone have any, like, favorite, this is really fucked up and morbid, does anyone have any favorite, like, suicide scenes in movies or pop culture?
Oh, like pop culture and movies. Yes, actually, I do. The scene in Roll Tenenbaums with Needle in the
Luke
Hay
Wilson?
and Luke Wilson and Elliott Smith's Needle in the Hay playing in the background.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, no, I can't. That's one of my favorite movies, and I can't watch that scene anymore. Makes
Yeah.
me cry.
Yeah, I think that's the point, but
Well, I mean,
probably
yeah,
not
yeah.
for that reason. The last time I watched that movie, that scene was playing right as like my mom got news that her best friend was found dead in her home.
Beautiful.
So it was not a good association.
Yeah, not so great.
No. But yeah.
Yeah, the first time I had a panic attack, I was watching Edward Scissorhands, and now every time I watch that movie, I feel like I want to have a panic attack for no reason. It is sad, but
Well, it's just sad thinking of what happened to Johnny Depp.
yeah.
Yeah, how they
My
replaced his hands
favorite-
with those scissors for that movie.
Yeah, he can't wipe
Tragic.
his ass anymore.
Exactly.
My favorite
Great joke from the 90s.
suicide scene was Wrist Cutters.
Oh,
where
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
yeah.
guitar player guy pours the beer
Into
on his
the
guitar while he's
guitar.
playing. He's just like pop, 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 most punk rock thing ever.
Yeah, fucking goes out, yeah.
Yeah.
Not condoning suicide, just
Of
saying
course
it was
not.
pretty
No, that's
punk
not
rock.
what this
Right.
is about. This is
Yeah,
about...
I guess pivoting off of suicide scenes in movies, is anyone, or do we have a favorite sort of like mental movies that talk about or are about mental health?
Crazy is a really good one. It's in French.
I would say on the bad side is what's that crappy Zach Braff movie that everybody loved in the 2000s?
Oh, Garden State.
Garden State is a terrible. You just need a girl to make you happy. You don't need medication.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no,
or
it's
my
a
other
fucking
least
horrible
favorite.
message.
Who's the fucking guy? Silver Linings Playbook. I hate that one.
Oh, that movie fucking blows. For more reasons
It's
than
like-
just it's a bad movie.
Aren't crazy people hot?
Mm-hmm.
And I use the term crazy loosely and as
Yeah.
offensively as possible.
Speaking of that, the movie Crazy is excellent. It's in French, and it's a coming-of-age film about mental health, family issues, and the main overarching storyline, besides the drugs, is like how he's growing up and discovering that he likes dudes. And it is a great mental health / family drug
I've never seen it.
loss
So I'll have to.
addiction
Gotcha.
movie.
All the big three.
Soundtrack's amazing.
I think a good one, a couple good ones. One is Melancholia by Lars von Trier, where it doesn't feature weird genital mutilation.
Yeah,
But
is great.
it's like this kind of I don't know, not dissection, but like a meditation on like depression on one side and anxiety on the other, and it's like kind of told in two parts, where like this woman is getting married to it's Kirsten Dunst who's getting married to Peter Sarsgaard, right?
Sounds about right.
And it's this lavish wedding, and her sister is putting it on because her sister's husband, played by Kiefer Sutherland, is extremely wealthy, and they put on this lavish thing, and the Kirsten Dunst is like, I'm fucking horribly depressed, and I don't want to, like, she starts kind of acting out and not wanting to really participate in her own wedding.
Sure.
Right.
And then her sister's like, aren't you fucking grateful? I spent so much money on this goddamn wedding, you know. And then the movie flips, and it kind of follows the anxiety of the sister who's like freaking out. Because P.S. there's a planet that's gonna smash into Earth and everyone's gonna die.
Buried the lead there.
yeah. But it's really good. It's long, but it definitely has a beautiful score.
Worth a watch.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
Neat.
Anyway, another really good one that I haven't watched in a long time but I want to is called Take Shelter.
I've never seen that.
That one is about, and it's not strict. I'm totally gonna spoil it. Yeah, so it's basically a guy who lives in like the Midwest, and he's the breadwinner for his family, and his daughter is deaf, and he is trying to save up money to get her a cochlear implant. And he starts having weird fucked up nightmares and about like this storm and oil rain and like this giant storm that's going to kill everyone. So he starts freaking out and starts building a storm shelter in his front yard. And starts having weird hallucinations. But because he's the breadwinner and he is kind of a Midwestern stoic male, he's like doesn't tell his wife, doesn't
I'm from
seek
the
any
Midwest.
help.
Yeah, it's a very silent. You know, just hike up your britches and fucking.
Right.
Yep, I'm fine. I can soldier on through anything, and then you die at 65.
Yeah. But the main guy is played by Michael Shannon, and his wife is Jessica Chastain, and it's very, very good.
I love both of those.
I will say, and for spoilers, the movie is not really about mental health or schizophrenia. It's just kind of like showing this guy having these things, and because then the end of the movie kind of ruins it because they go on a vacation just to get out of town, you know, because he lost his job because he used his construction job equipment to build his bomb shelter or his storm shelter, which he wasn't supposed to. He got shit canned.
Sounds weirdly almost like The Machinist too.
It's kind of like The Machinist, but at the end of the movie. They go on vacation, and all of a sudden, oily rain starts falling from the sky, and this giant storm front's coming. So he was right. So
he's a prophet.
So he's a prophet, but he was, his mother did have schizophrenia in the movie, and so you're like, okay, like I'm not really sure what the movie's trying to say about it, but acting wise and portrayal of like having an onset of a mental illness, I think was really well done.
Neat.
Yeah.
Good recommendations.
Yeah. So that's, I think, our episode.
Yeah,
today.
I think we about
Laugh Riot.
Well, yeah, it's probably one of our funniest episodes ever.
So great.
Woo.
But
Our jokes kill.
hey, only ourselves. I'm trying to win that free sub, dude.
You get a sub in heaven.
Oh, they put mustard on it.
I always knew this was the bad place. So thanks for listening to us ramble on about things we know nothing about, or some things we know about. I know nothing about anything.
That's okay. But if you want to have your story read by people that don't know anything, feel free to drop us an email and talk about your own
things you learned.
Things you learned and mental health issues. And remember, we're not therapists. We're not here to solve your problems. But if you want to come on and tell your story, that's perfectly fine. If anything else, talk to a professional.
Right, because after listening to this episode, would anyone actually think that we would be good people to be like, let's talk to you about my problems?
Yes.
Don't listen to podcast comedians. We ended up here for a reason.
Yes.
Podcasting is our fault, but it's not our responsibility.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
But your mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
So, wdylearn@gmail.com. Instagram, Twitter is at wdylearnpodcast. And send us some stuff.
Yeah.
And then
we'll eventually
can make more
read something.
of this stuff.
When we have stuff to read.
Yeah. And
so, if you like us and want more content, send content.
Yeah. Great. So, I'm Dallas.
Lovely meek ending.
Me, Alex.
I'm Zach, I guess. Bye, everybody. We love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The So What Did You Learn podcast is brought to you by the So What Did You Learn Network. Theme written and recorded by Jacob Rose. Our logo was designed by Stevie Van Bronckhorst. Further work of hers can be found at stevievanb.com.